The outage that stopped the world. A timeline of events. The first glitches. It all started innocently enough. Users began noticing issues late in the evening when posts failed to load, messages didn't send, and timelines froze mid-scroll. At first, it seemed like a typical glitch, the kind that resolves itself in minutes. But as reports poured in from different parts of the globe, it became clear this was no minor hiccup. By midnight, Downdetector, a site known for tracking online outages, showed an exponential spike in complaints. Reports of Facebook down, Instagram outage, and WhatsApp crash flooded in from users across North America, Europe, and Asia. The site's live map turned red with activity, marking one of the largest recorded outages for the platform to date. As users scrambled to check their connections, they realized the problem wasn't just local. Social media forums and independent platforms like Reddit buzzed with chatter. Is Facebook down for anyone else? Can't send messages on WhatsApp. What's going on? Anyone else seeing the spinning wheel on IG? Is Instagram down? Countries reported outages across continents, sparking confusion and concern. By 2 a.m. UTC, hashtags like #FacebookDown and #InstagramDown were trending globally. For nearly an hour, Meta remained silent, leaving millions of users in the dark. During that time, small businesses reliant on Instagram ads, creators launching sponsored posts, and families coordinating via WhatsApp felt the impact most acutely. Panic began to spread as theories ranged from technical errors to potential cyber attacks. Finally, after over an hour of silence, Meta's communications team broke their silence with a tweet. "We are aware that some users are experiencing difficulties accessing our apps. We're working to get things back to normal as quickly as possible." While brief, the statement failed to quell the growing anxiety. With no timeline provided, users began speculating about the root cause of the outage. Facebook. Users reported being unable to log in or refresh their timelines. Notifications and interactions were delayed, creating widespread frustration. Instagram stories failed to load, messages stalled in the sending stage, and the feed showed only a couldn't refresh error. WhatsApp entire conversations froze. Users couldn't send or receive texts, voice notes, or media files, creating chaos for those relying on the app for business or personal emergencies. By dawn, it became evident that the three pillars of Meta's ecosystem had simultaneously crumbled, marking one of the most significant technical failures in the company's history. As millions attempted to troubleshoot, alternative platforms like Twitter, TikTok, and Telegram saw record traffic spikes. Memes flooded Twitter as users joked about migrating permanently. Meanwhile, Telegram gained over 70 million new downloads in just a few hours, highlighting how vulnerable Meta's monopoly had become. By the 6th hour, businesses began reporting severe disruptions. Online shops reliant on Facebook for ads experienced revenue drops, and customer service teams were paralyzed without WhatsApp. Influencers missed critical campaign deadlines, forcing many to reconsider their reliance on Meta's tools. After nearly 12 hours, users reported sporadic functionality returning to their apps. While Meta gradually restored access, the damage was done. Outages of this scale had become a rare occurrence, and the global dependence on Meta's platforms had been exposed like never before. The outage didn't just inconvenience millions, it sparked conversations about the over-reliance on centralized social media platforms. Users, creators, and businesses alike were forced to reflect on what a world without Meta might look like. This was more than a technical failure, it was a global wake-up call. What caused the outage? Could Meta's infrastructure withstand the demands of billions of users moving forward? And most importantly, what happens when one company holds so much power over the way we connect? The answers to these questions would come to define the aftermath of the outage. At the heart of Meta's digital empire lies one of the world's most intricate technological infrastructures. With billions of users accessing Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp daily, Meta's ecosystem processes an unfathomable amount of data every second. But even this robust architecture is not immune to failure. So what went wrong this time? When the outage began, the lack of transparency from Meta opened the floodgates to speculation. Social media and news outlets became hotbeds of theories. Was it a cyber attack? Given the scale of the disruption, many wondered if Meta had fallen victim to a sophisticated cyber attack. Could hackers have exploited vulnerabilities in Meta's vast network? Or perhaps a server overload? With billions of simultaneous users, some speculated that a spike in traffic could have overwhelmed Meta's servers. Others believed the issue might stem from internal human error or an overlooked bug in the system. A more conspiratorial angle suggested that governments or regulators might be involved, citing growing concerns about Meta's monopolistic practices. After hours of silence, Meta released an official statement attributing the outage to a configuration error. According to their engineers, routine updates to their backbone routers inadvertently disconnected Meta's data centers from the broader internet. This explanation highlighted a critical vulnerability in Meta's system. Unlike decentralized platforms, Meta's ecosystem relies on tightly interlinked systems. A single error in one component can cascade, disrupting the entire network. While Meta employs advanced fail-safes, this outage exposed weaknesses in their contingency planning. A configuration error occurs when updates to a system's hardware or software disrupt its ability to function. In Meta's case, this involved changes to their border gateway protocol, which serves as the address book of the internet. When BGP failed, Meta's platforms essentially disappeared from the internet, making them inaccessible to users worldwide. The ripple effects of this disconnection were catastrophic. Without proper routing, Meta's servers couldn't communicate with one another, effectively shutting down all internal operations. Even Meta's employees were locked out of their systems, unable to address the issue quickly. While configuration errors are not uncommon, the scale and interconnectedness of Meta's infrastructure made the recovery process particularly challenging. Key factors included the global scale of Meta's operations, access issues with internal systems offline, and the need for rigorous testing and validation before restoring services. This wasn't the first time Meta faced a major outage, but it was among the most impactful. A server configuration change in 2019 caused Facebook and Instagram to go down for over 14 hours, disrupting billions of users. In 2021, coinciding with testimony from a whistleblower, another outage stemming from a BGP issue lasted only 6 hours. Compared to these incidents, the recent outage was far more severe in terms of both duration and global impact, raising questions about whether Meta has learned from past mistakes. Industry experts have weighed in, suggesting that while such errors are difficult to eliminate entirely, Meta could take steps to minimize future risks. Moving toward a more decentralized infrastructure could reduce the impact of localized errors. Advanced AI-driven monitoring tools could help detect and resolve issues before they escalate. Building more redundancy into the system would allow Meta to reroute traffic in case of outages. While Meta may have provided a technical explanation, many users remain skeptical. The sheer scale of the outage, combined with Meta's history of privacy and security issues, has eroded public trust. This incident served as a reminder of the risks inherent in relying so heavily on a single company for global communication and connectivity. The outage didn't just impact Meta's platforms, it also affected the broader digital ecosystem. Companies relying on Meta for advertising and communication faced significant losses. Competitors like Telegram and Signal saw massive surges in new users, highlighting the fragility of Meta's dominance. As the dust settles, one question looms large. What does this outage mean for the future of digital communication? Is it time for a decentralized alternative to Meta's centralized empire? The answers may shape the next chapter in the evolution of the internet. When Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp simultaneously went offline, the digital world erupted in confusion. Across platforms like Twitter and Reddit, hashtags like #FacebookDown, #InstagramDown, and #WhatsAppOutage began trending within minutes. People turned to alternative platforms to express their frustrations and share memes. The collective response highlighted society's deep dependency on Meta's platforms for communication, entertainment, and commerce. For businesses, the outage wasn't just an inconvenience, it was a financial nightmare. Small enterprises relying on WhatsApp for customer communication were unable to process orders, while advertisers lost valuable hours of campaign time. According to estimates, Meta's advertising revenue took a hit of $60 million per hour during the outage. The outage caught the attention of governments and regulators worldwide, sparking discussions about the risks of over-centralization in the tech industry. Lawmakers in the United States renewed calls for antitrust action against Meta, arguing that its monopoly on digital communication made the outage particularly damaging. The incident fueled debates over the Digital Markets Act in the European Union, a proposed regulation aimed at curbing the power of big tech. In India and Brazil, two of WhatsApp's largest markets, government officials expressed concerns about the platform's reliability and its impact on citizens. While Meta scrambled to resolve the issue, rival platforms benefited significantly. The messaging app Telegram gained over 70 million new users in a single day, with its founder, Pavel Durov, openly welcoming the influx. Another popular alternative, Signal, saw a surge in downloads, with users praising its privacy-focused features. Both Twitter and TikTok enjoyed increased traffic as users shifted their attention to alternatives for social networking and news updates. The outage became a cultural moment, spawning countless memes and jokes. Some of the most popular themes included Meta's monopoly, the reliance on WhatsApp, and imagined reactions from Mark Zuckerberg. Beyond the humor, the outage also highlighted how deeply ingrained Meta's platforms are in people's lives. Stories emerged of long-distance families, mental health advocates, and emergency situations where the outage posed serious risks. The global reaction to the outage underscored a larger issue: the concentration of digital power in the hands of a few companies. As Meta controls some of the most widely used platforms in the world, even a temporary disruption can have widespread consequences. This incident has prompted calls for diversification, encouraging users and businesses to explore alternative platforms. There are also calls for decentralization, advocating for technologies like blockchain to create more resilient communication networks. And of course, accountability, pushing Meta to improve its infrastructure and transparency in the wake of such outages. As we dive deeper into the technical causes and Meta's response, one thing is clear: this outage wasn't just a hiccup, it was a wake-up call for a digitally dependent world. What steps will Meta take to restore trust? And what does this mean for the future of digital communication? Stay tuned, share your thoughts. How do you feel about today's outage? Like and follow for more updates on the ever-changing social platform landscape.